When my brother first got engaged, he called me before anyone else. I still remember where I was standing, outside my office building, balancing my phone against my shoulder while digging through my bag for my car keys. His voice sounded lighter than it had in years. She said yes. I congratulated him. He sounded happy, and for a moment I felt something simple and uncomplicated pride. Our family wasn't particularly stable growing up. I was the older one, the person who figured things out first: jobs, bills, paperwork, the practical parts of being an adult. He had always moved through life a little more loosely. So when wedding planning started getting complicated, it felt natural that I stepped in. At first it was just advice, then spreadsheets, then calls with venues and caterers when he was busy. Eventually, when deposits started stacking up, I covered a few of them. He said he'd pay me back later. I told him not to worry about it. I wasn't doing it as a loan. I was doing it because he was my brother. Planning stretched across months. I talked to photographers, confirmed the band, negotiated a better price with the reception hall because their coordinator had double booked another event and needed to smooth things over. I didn't mind. It felt good to help build something. But somewhere in the middle of it all, something subtle changed. Updates stopped coming directly from him. I would hear about decisions from our aunt or through short text messages forwarded by someone else. Sometimes I'd ask a question about timing or logistics and get a vague answer hours later. I told myself weddings were stressful. People got overwhelmed. Then one afternoon, about 3 weeks before the ceremony, my cousin called while I was driving home. She was talking quickly, excited about travel plans and hotel bookings. "And we're all sitting together at table 5, she said. "Right near the dance floor. They finalized the guest list yesterday." I smiled into the phone. "Nice," I said. Later that night, curiosity nudged at me. I logged into the wedding website to check the seating chart they had posted for guests. The list was long. Friends, coworkers, extended relatives I hadn't seen in years. I scrolled slowly. Then again, my name wasn't there. At first I assumed it was a technical mistake. Maybe the website had a limited preview or something hadn't synced properly. The next day I called my brother. He answered on the third ring. I explained what I'd seen, trying to keep my tone casual, like it was a minor administrative glitch. There was a short silence on the other end, then he sighed. Not the kind of sigh people make when something has gone wrong. The kind they make when they think something should have been obvious. "Look," he said, "we talked about this?" "No," I said quietly. "We didn't." Another pause. Then his voice shifted slightly, becoming dismissive in a way that made the conversation feel smaller. "You know how things get when you're around," he said. "You tend to complicate things." I waited. "You'd just embarrass me," he added. Like always. The words hung there. I didn't argue. I didn't remind him of the last 8 months of phone calls and invoices and contracts. I just said, "Okay." Then I ended the call. That evening I opened my laptop. Not out of anger. More out of a strange kind of clarity. During the planning process, a lot of the vendors had ended up communicating through me. Mostly because I responded faster and kept the paperwork organized. The contracts were straightforward. Deposits secured dates, but full confirmations required final authorization before services were executed. I started with the venue coordinator. I explained that I was withdrawing from financial responsibility for the event. Calmly, politely, I asked them to redirect all remaining billing directly to the couple. She understood immediately. Situations like that weren't unusual. The caterer was next, then the equipment rental company, then the band. None of the conversations were dramatic. They were administrative. Each vendor simply updated their files. Without the confirmed payment authorizations attached to my accounts, everything shifted into a holding pattern. The wedding day arrived warm and bright. I didn't go near the venue. Instead, I spent the afternoon walking through a park near my apartment, my phone tucked in my pocket. Around mid, Afternoon, my cousin sent a confused message. Did something happen with the venue? A few minutes later, another relative posted a photo online. Guests were standing around inside the hall. The tables were only half arranged, the dance floor lights were dark. Someone else posted a short video clip. The band stage was empty. I didn't feel triumphant watching it. Mostly I felt quiet. Later that evening, my brother called. I let it ring. He called again. The voicemail he left was short and tight with frustration. "What did you do?" I sat on my balcony after sunset and listened to it. Then I listened to it again. The thing that stayed with me wasn't the accusation. It was the assumption that I was still responsible for holding everything together. For a long time, that had been my role in the family. Fixing things quietly before anyone noticed they were broken. But that only works when people believe you belong there. And somewhere along the way, my brother had decided I didn't. My phone buzzed again later that night with another message from him. This one sounded different. Less angry. More confused. I turned the phone face down on the table. Below me, traffic moved steadily through the intersection. Somewhere across the city, a wedding reception had probably ended hours earlier than planned. And for the first time since the engagement announcement months ago, I realized something simple. Helping someone build their life is a generous thing. But it only works if they actually want you in it.